Passionate, very caring, very kind-hearted, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please, as we remain standing, we'll call for the national anthem immediately. Can we please have the national anthem? Thank you very much. Please remain standing for the third stanza of the national anthem as our prayer, as we pray. O God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria shall be blessed. Amen and amen. Please be seated. As you take your seats, may I, first of all, to the glory of God, welcome the mother of a nation. But as I welcome her, I'd also like that we please put our hands together as loud as can be for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Can we have that round of applause for Nigeria, please? Well, thank you very much indeed. The esteemed special guest of honor, Nigeria's #1 woman and mother of a nation, Your Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu CON, Yeye Asiwaju of Yoruba land, and First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, CON, Deputy Governor of Katsina State, Honorable Farouk Lawal, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Niger State, Comrade Yakubu Garba, standing in for the Governor of Niger State, the host minister, Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Honorable Pharmacist Dr. Bernard Doro, the Honorable Minister for Budget and Economic Planning, Your Excellency Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagodo CON, the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs and Social Development, Honorable Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, ably represented here by the Director General and CEO of the Mariam Babangida Center for Women Development, Dr. Ade Dayo Benjamin Lani, the Permanent Secretary, Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Mr. Olubumi Olusoya, other permanent secretaries representing ministers here present at this event, the country UN resident and humanitarian coordinator for the United Nations here in Nigeria, Mohammed Malik Fall, and your colleagues from the EU, from World Food Programme, and from the World Bank, respectively. Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representative of heads of agencies and departments of government, both at the national and subnational levels here present, a representative of a CG, Civil Defense Corps, Your Imperial Majesty, Alaelua Oba Dr. Francis Ade Farakomi Agbede OFR, Ilufemi Loye Ogidi III, Your Royal Highness, the Honor of Abaji, very distinguished honorable commissioners, from the various states of the Federation that are here, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Just as we welcome you to this epoch event, permit me to also recognize Your Excellency on the protocol list, Reverend Dr. Stephen Fmhapr, Vice President, Christian Association of Nigeria, representing the CAN President here at this event. We welcome you. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we gathered and converge on this very auditorium for a very important event and being presided over by our dear compassionate Mama, the mother of a nation. Today's event speaks volume, and it is more than just an ordinary unveiling of intervention from a very responsive government. It is an intentional commitment by the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to ensure that vulnerability does not become permanent or does not become a permanent condition for millions of Nigerians under the renewed hope agenda of our dear, audacious President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. We've all been invited to witness the unveiling of $1 billion Renewed Hope Social Protection Program, an intervention designed to strengthen Nigeria's social protection architecture and also help to create sustainable pathways for from vulnerability to prosperity. And at the heart of today's event are three very key, outstanding and remarkable ideas: protecting the vulnerable, coordinating our national resource, and building sustainable systems for economic cohesion. And that also speaks volume. And from emergency cash transfers that is targeting 7.6 million vulnerable households to the 1 humanitarian, one poverty response system. The Ministerial Blueprint and Humanity First magazine that will be launched at this event will also be unveiled by Her Excellency, our dear, esteemed, very caring mother of the nation, and several other reinforcing mechanisms that will be unveiled in the course of this event. We're privileged to have presiding over this epoch event at this moment a very wonderful woman whose public engagements have consistently reflected compassion, inclusion, and concerns for families and vulnerable Nigerians. Her Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. With these very wonderful tone-setting and remarks, I'd like to welcome all of you, because we are not the experts. Welcome one and all to this unveiling of the Renewed Hope Social Protection Program, from vulnerability to prosperity. Please, if your hands are not very busy, I'd like that we please put our hands together for our First Lady. Welcome her more with a round of applause. And of course, celebrate all of yourselves that have come because you are concerned about moving Nigeria from poverty to prosperity. In the light of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not walking alone. I've got my sister, a broadcaster par excellence, all the way from the plateau, Jos, who has come here to support us with what we're doing here. I think your voice will be necessary to come on the microphone at this juncture.
Thank you very much, Andy. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, hope is a very powerful word. And when someone gives you hope, that person gives you a shoulder to stand on. Our President and the First Lady, under the Renewed Hope agenda, are asking Nigerians to stand on their shoulders and reach for the skies. 7.6 million vulnerable Nigerians to be helped to get out of poverty and get onto prosperity. It is an honor and a pleasure to be part of this ceremony and to see each and every one of us here supporting, working, collaborating, and doing everything possible to help Nigerians get from poverty to prosperity. And we congratulate the ministry on the publication of the very first humanitarian magazine, Reading Knowledge Means Everything. You are all graciously welcome.
And so moving on with the speed that this event deserves, Your Excellency, without much ado, would like to, at this juncture, welcome the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Mr. Olubunmi Olusonya, to most formally welcome all of us to this event. Please, a round of applause as we welcome him to the podium. As much as possible, would like that you skip protocols for brevity of time. The Palm Sector.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Ruremi Tinubu, CON, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umaru Sulum, the Honorable Ministers of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, CON, and my dear amiable Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Bernard Doro. Please, for one more time, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol, which was properly led by the Master of Ceremony. It is with great honor and pleasure that I warmly welcome Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Ruremi Tinubu, CON, the special guest of honor at this event, our distinguished governors, honorable ministers, commissioners, development partners, and all stakeholders to this landmark occasion, marking the unveiling of the Hope Social Protection Program, the launch of one humanitarian, one poverty response system, and the first humanitarian first magazine. Today marks an important milestone in Nigeria's effort to address poverty, vulnerability, and humanitarian challenges. These initiatives reflect the commitment of the federal government under the Renew Hope agenda to building more effective and people-centered approaches that protect those at risk, strengthen resilience, and create sustainable pathways out of poverty. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, poverty and humanitarian vulnerability are closely interconnected. Conflict, displacement, disasters, food insecurity, and economic shocks can push families deeper into poverty, while poverty itself reduces their ability to withstand and recover from crisis. This reality demands a more integrated approach, one that enables government to anticipate needs, target assistance effectively, and link immediate support with long-term recovery and empowerment. The Hope Social Protection Program provides an important platform for improving the delivery of social protection through better targeting, coordination, accountability, and stronger linkages to livelihoods and essential services. It builds on ongoing efforts to strengthen institutions, systems, and digital platforms so that support reaches the right people at the right time and the right form. The One Humanitarian One Poverty Reduction System complements this effort by bringing humanitarian action and poverty reduction closer together. It seeks to improve information sharing, reduce duplication, strengthen national ownership, and ensure that people affected by crisis receive timely, effective, and dignified assistance, while creating pathways toward recovery and resilience. The unveiling of the Humanitarian Force magazine adds an important knowledge and communication dimension to this milestone. It provides a platform to document Nigerians' humanitarian and poverty reduction journey, showcase programs and partnerships, share lessons and good practices, and give greater visibility to the experiences of the communities and people we serve. At the heart of these initiatives is a simple but fundamental principle. Government must be able to see vulnerability, understand needs, and respond effectively. This calls for reliable data, effective early warning and preparedness, strong institutional collaboration, and robust monitoring and accountability. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate measure of our success will be the difference these initiatives make in people's lives. The family protected from falling deeper into poverty, the displaced household supported to recover, and the individual empowered to build a more secure and dignified future. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction is committed to providing the leadership and coordination required to translate these initiatives into practical, measurable, and lasting outcomes. We recognize that this responsibility must be shared, and we look forward to sustained collaboration with state and local governments, relevant MDAs, development partners, civil society organizations, the private sector, and the communities themselves. Permit me to express our profound appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his visionary leadership and continued support for initiatives aimed at improving the welfare and resilience of Nigerians. We are particularly honored by the presence of Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Remi Tinubu, CON. Your Excellency, ma'am, we deeply appreciate your commitment to the well-being and dignity of Nigerians. Today is not simply about launching programs and systems, it is about renewing our determination to ensure that government interventions translate into meaningful and lasting improvements in the life of Nigerians. We are deeply honored by your presence and privileged to have you formally unveil these initiatives, and we look forward to your guidance and support as we translate this renewed commitment into tangible results for Nigerians. As we embark on this new chapter, let us reaffirm our collective commitment to an approach that is integrated, inclusive, responsive, transparent, accountable, and sustainable, moving Nigeria from fragmented responses to coordinated action, from vulnerability to resilience, and from dependence to sustainable empowerment. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, ma'am.
Clapping has a lot of health benefits. Can we please give ourselves another round of applause? Thank you very much. Your Excellency, dear Mother, ordinarily we are aware of the protocol, but please permit me for inclusivity to recognize the persons here who have joined us and persons with disability. Ikem Uchegbula Esquire is the Director of Compliance Enforcement representing Honorable Ayuba Bukar Ogufwan, who is the Executive Secretary, National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. We welcome you. And I've just been told that the amiable wife of the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Martina Nentawe, just joined us. Please, a warm round of applause for them.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the PAMSEC told us that what the federal government is doing is ensuring that lasting improvements are seen in the lives of Nigerians as we move them from vulnerability, protection, to resource and inclusion, as well as gaining prosperity. That's what our partners have also been doing with the federal government of Nigeria. We'll take some goodwill messages, and I'm starting with the European Union. It is my pleasure to invite the Head of Human Development, Delegation of the European Union to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to the Economic Community of West African States, Leila Ben Amor Mathieu. Please welcome her with a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, Leila.
Thank you. Good morning, all. I'm here standing for my ambassador, His Excellency Gauthier Mignot, Ambassador of the European Union, who is currently meeting with the Minister of Finance. Your Excellency, the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Honorable Minister of Budget and Planning, Senator Bagudu, Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, my dear Bernard Doro, colleagues, excuse me, I'm Governor Zulum of Borno, sorry for that. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, all protocol being observed. On behalf of the European Union, it is my pleasure to extend warm congratulations to the federal government and the people of Nigeria on the unveiling of this Renewed Hope Social Protection Program. This initiative marks an important milestone in Nigeria's journey towards inclusive, sustainable development, one that places the dignity and well-being of its most vulnerable citizens at the heart of national policy. It is a vision the European Union shares deeply and consistently champions across its own member states and in partnerships around the world. We also warmly welcome, alongside this unveiling, the launch of the One Humanitarian, One Poverty Response System, a unifying framework that promises to harmonize data, strengthen coordination, and ensure that support reaches those who need it most without duplication or delay. This is precisely the kind of systems-level thinking that transforms good intentions into lasting impact. Social protection is not merely a policy instrument, it is an expression of solidarity, equity, and shared humanity, values that lie at the core of the European project. The EU was built on the conviction that no citizen should be left behind, that economic progress must be matched by social justice, and that resilient societies are those that protect their most disadvantaged members. It is in this spirit that we welcome and support this program as a bold and necessary step towards a more equitable Nigeria. The European Union remains a committed partner to Nigeria in this endeavor. Through our ongoing cooperation in humanitarian aid, in human development, durable solutions, social inclusion, and resilience, we reaffirm our readiness to support Nigeria's efforts to strengthen its social safety nets, reduce poverty, build social protection systems that respond to the needs of the poorest, women, children, youth, the internally displaced, and other very vulnerable groups. We commend the leadership and vision behind this program and the push for a domestically funded One Humanitarian, One Poverty Response System, and we look forward to seeing it translate into tangible improvements in the lives of millions of Nigerians. The EU stands ready to walk this path together with Nigeria as a partner in progress and prosperity and a friend with a shared purpose. Congratulations once again on this important achievement, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Leila Binamor. And next, I will invite the UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, Mohammed M. Malik Fall. He will speak next, and please, if your goodwill message is very lengthy, kindly reduce 1 or 2 paragraphs. That will be very, very helpful. Thank you so much. The UN is a partner indeed.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON. Allow me to use this podium not only to follow the setting of a protocol, but on behalf of the United Nations in Nigeria and on behalf of the international community, thank you. Thank you and express our gratitude, not for your presence today, but also for what you are doing every single day around the year. There is no day where you are not next to the most vulnerable, whether they are children, whether they are women, whether they are displaced, or whether they are people who face shock. And you don't go to them only giving them hands out. You go to them to give them hope for a brighter future. You go to them to help them to get back onto their feet. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for supporting the most vulnerable people. I know time is a challenge, but allow me to do few recognition of brothers and sisters who are in the room. I wanted to start with His Excellency the Governor of Borno, the Excellency is the Deputy Governor of Katsina, Deputy Governor of Niger, my brother, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, and our chief host today, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. I know also we have a lot of members of the international community, including my fellow colleagues from UN. But given the challenge we have in terms of time, I just wanted to stand on the existing protocol after recognizing also our royal fathers, the traditional leaders who are in this room. It is an honor to be here for this critical unveiling of the federal government landmark 1 billion renewed hope social protection program. I welcome the government leadership in launching this initiative and its other related work, which hold tremendous hope for 10 millions of vulnerable Nigerians, offering them a new pathway to economic improvement and poverty reduction. This event marked the start of a new chapter in the evolution of Nigeria's social protection architecture, and it is exactly the kind of efficient, connected thinking that we are fostering around the world. I am pleased to see Nigeria, as on many aspects of development, taking such a strong leadership role on these issues. And as we say, Nigeria moves, not only West Africa, but our entire continent moves. And if Nigeria faces challenges, the rest of the continent faces challenges. This is to say the hope that the international community places in Nigeria and places in the success of this program. It represents a significant step forward in providing a vital safety net to vulnerable Nigerians as they confront multifaceted challenges of today and offer them a pathway to accompany them on the journey toward poverty reduction. It is laudable to see an integrated approach increasingly being applied across government that increasingly link humanitarian assistance, social protection intervention, and sustainable poverty exit within a coordinated national architecture. This commitment to those that are most in need takes a significant importance in the broader context of Nigeria Humanitarian Transition Plan, which will see the national institution increasing their role in coordinating, planning, and financing the humanitarian response over the coming month and year. Emergency humanitarian support remains a lifeline for many. It helps families get back onto their feet. It gives them dignity, and it gives them also choice, and hopefully it gives them possibility to reduce the suffering they are facing. Today, the United Nations stand here, united with you, and around a shared vision that protects the most vulnerable people, while building dignity and resilience through the provision of social safety net and better pathway out of poverty. You can rely on the United Nations in Nigeria to get behind you, support this effort, and ensure that every household is protected, empowered, and remain prosperous. As one family, the United Nations will work hands in hand with the government of Nigeria in this effort to ensure that no one is left behind. I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Malik Fall. Please give him another round of applause. From from the United Nations, we now move to the World Bank. Taimur Samad, Operations Manager, Nigeria, Western and Central Africa region, will speak on behalf of the World Bank, the bank that is there to support, to help, and to provide assistance and resources when needed by countries for development and humanitarian activities. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here. Your Excellency, the First Lady, Honorable Tinubu, CON, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I will be rigorous about standing on existing protocols. Further Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Governors, and other dignitaries, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. For the World Bank, our commitment to social protection and resilience is well known. It is a strong pillar of our engagement, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. And we are truly honored over the last many years to be a partner to the federal government of Nigeria and to many states across the Federation in supporting efforts to protect the poorest and most vulnerable as the government builds out a sustainable and modern social protection system. For us today, this event represents, as Leila put it as well, a very critical transition. A transition from perhaps an emergency, reactive social protection towards the building of a more systematic and integrated approach to both social protection and poverty reduction. An approach that aims to bring coordination across multiple platforms and programs at the federal level, and critically for us, brings together a vision of the federal and state governments working together across these multiple initiatives to address poverty reduction and social protection challenges. Allow me to say just 2 or 3 things that for us are critically important as we go forward. I think first and foremost, the commitment to sustainable multi-year financing of government towards supporting social protection is critical. The importance, as the title of today's event suggests, or the subtitle, movement from palliatives to pathways, is critical. For us, that means a differentiated approach across the social protection system that addresses the most vulnerable, but also creates pathways for those most vulnerable to escape poverty. And then lastly, I think critical for us is the importance of building a shared vision across the federal and state levels on an approach to social protection into the medium term. The World Bank Group is honored to be a partner of the federal government of Nigeria in this endeavor, as we have been over the last many years, and aim and hope to continue to be honored with that role as we go forward. Thank you very much, and I wish for excellent deliberations today, and I wish the best of luck to our host, Honorable Minister Doro. It is an honor to be a partner to you, and thank you for your trust. We look forward to continuing to work together. Thank you.
Thank you from the World Bank, and we'll move quickly to the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, His Excellency Bagudu Atiku. Please welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic and indeed the Mother of the Nation, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, His Excellency Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, the Borno State Governor, the Deputy Governors of Katsina and Niger State, honorable ministers, particularly the host minister, my brother Bernard Doro, UN agencies, permanent secretaries, distinguished participants from the development community from the different states. Good morning, everyone. Let me start by appreciating the Minister of Humanitarian and Poverty Alleviation for organizing this, and to thank Her Excellency, the First Lady, for agreeing to witness and support the program, which, not surprisingly, as Mohammed Paul have said, given her commitment to supporting the energizing and ensuring that our country works for all. Congratulations and thank you, Your Excellency. In 2017, the country approved a national protection policy, which saw a number of humanitarian and poverty alleviation programs that were, as per the policy, to ensure that there is a coordinated approach, because there has been several attempts in the past. So it started by the Office of the Vice President and later evolved into the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in the year 2019. The social protection policy, which has been reviewed, recognizes first and foremost that we are a federation, and social protection is multifaceted, multi-institutional, multi-tiers of government. The local governments have responsibility to play, the states have responsibility to play, as well as the federal government. And therefore, we can only achieve optimal outcomes when all the three tiers of government and, in fact, whole society works together. And we have had history to fall back to and the experience of other countries. Equally, when Mr. President was campaigning on a renewed hope agenda, one of the elements is that we must create a country that includes everyone. And when he later on gave us the specific task of designing a $1 trillion economy by the year 2030, one of the cardinal objectives is to ensure that everyone is included and we eliminate poverty. Ambitious, yes, but it can be done subtly. And Mr. President not only stopped there, but he recognized that to give effect to that ambition, we must recognize our federalism and even give support to it so that every part of Nigeria can be mobilized to contribute and to ensure that everyone is included. And therefore, Mr. President attended a meeting of the National Economic Council on October 25, 2025, October 25th, 2025, where he invited the governors to accept a memo, to agree to a memo on a renewed hope world development plan, which recognized that the 8,809 wards should be mapped with a whole of government approach so that we see the opportunities and the challenges in each ward. We understand drivers of poverty, drivers of exclusion, so that we work together collaboratively and ensure that all the 8,809 wards become centers of prosperity, centers of inclusion, and ensure that as we restore the functioning of the ecosystem. Of course, at the heart of it, particularly in the federal government, is to recognize that it's a multi-institutional approach, and the Ministry of Humanitarian and Poverty Affairs is playing a leading role. Your Excellency, the First Lady, you may wish to know that Mr. President appreciated the challenges that this country was facing. And in disrupting it and liberating the decades of missed opportunities, he has the conviction that if we support the lower levels of government to be better funded and to be supported, economic prosperity and social inclusion will ensure. But he didn't stop there. In our federal budgeting, in our allocation of resources, we increased spending in those areas that we build peace and security and restore harmony. We increased spending in areas that will address the most important element of social protection, meaning how do we stop hardworking, millions of hardworking men and women from going into poverty. Not because they are lazy, not because they are not willing, they are not working hard, but sometimes because of international developments. The Russia-Ukraine war, the Middle East war, the tariff war are affecting hardworking millions of people across many countries. And therefore, we have to be deliberate, as we are doing, in designing to ensure that we pay attention to that, as well as what you know better, and the support for the vulnerable, which we have all included. As we speak, Your Excellency, there are in some local governments or in some states, maybe 10 government programs that are not speaking to each other. Some of them even creating a disincentive between one and each other. The World Bank, time we have just spoken, I believe just in the World Bank portfolio, we might have nothing less than 5 as approved and ready, currently being disbursed or ready to disburse, at least $6 billion of programs that are nationwide, that are all supportive of social protection and poverty eradication, but maybe not necessarily speaking to each other, particularly at the world level. And Mr. President said we must correct that. Therefore, this is yet again, one of the opportunities to ensure that we reflect on how we can get programs to speak to each other at the world level, which is the lowest level of government. It's not a resource problem. Mr. President, when he appeared before the National Economic Council, he expressed the confidence that, yes, we might not be yet where we want to be, but we have the resources to support every hardworking Nigerian and, of course, those who are vulnerable so that they will restore. I'm not, Your Excellency, I'm not invited to give a keynote speak, but this is very fundamental to the achievement. So, last but not the least, is to recognize that when Mr. President say, let us disrupt, because what we have been doing for decades is bankrupting us. We recognize that there are advantages in terms of more resources, particularly to the subnationals, which is true. Some of the subnationals have reported, I saying it daily, Governor Zulum, Governor Nasir, Governor Ahmed, many governors are reporting quadrupling or tripling of revenues. I happen to share, to be a governor in the first term of Governor Zulum. I was doing my second term, and I'm sure that what Kebbi is receiving on a monthly basis now is triple what it was receiving, and so also the local government. So the thought is that this money will support subnationals to ensure that we work together and include everyone. So to the critics of this government who once supported our policies, but now for political expediency and lack of arithmetic, think we can go back to the dark era. We say, let's think for the nation. Let's ensure that our populace, hardworking populace, the vulnerable populace, need our collaboration, our energy to help them exit where they are, rather than play politics with people's life, as Mr. President have directed us. And luckily, Mr. President came to the job ready. Somebody who I lived in Lagos between 1989 and 1996. I know when in Apombon Bridge, crossing Apombon Bridge from Surulere to my office is a nightmare, because young people who felt unincluded, who felt angry at society, will accost each motor vehicle and nobody will care for the other. But Mr. President, when he became governor, he felt that he recognized the humanity of these young men and women, and today they are happy participants in a more inclusive Lagos society. Her Excellency supported him. Her Excellency have been doing so across the length and breadth of this country, and I believe her experience, the passion we all share, can help us to serve social protection better. And thanks for the tremendous support of our development partners. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister for Budget and Economic Planning. Let me at this juncture, Your Excellency, invite a scholar who's only not in leadership, is also a servant of uncommon courage and a statesman beautifully divined by action, the Governor of Borno State, His Excellency, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, to speak on behalf of all the governors of Nigeria. That round of applause can come even louder for him.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governors that are here, members of the Federal Executive Council, the UN Resident Coordinator, Mohamed Fall, United Nations representatives that are here, development partners, members of the diplomatic corps, World Bank representative, our royal fathers, distinguished invited guests, good morning. Let me begin by commending the vision and tenacity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for unveiling and launching a $1 million social protection program. On behalf of the subnationals, I want to express my sincere appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for this great initiative. I also want to commend Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on behalf of the subnationals, for implementing various social intervention programs across the 36 states of the Federation. The root causes of the insurgency and crisis in various parts of the world, including Nigeria, are not limited to endemic poverty, pervasive illiteracy, social inequalities, poverty, amongst others. And therefore, launching of this program will go a long way in addressing the root causes of the insurgency in Nigeria. The kinetic measures alone will never end the insurgency. Addressing the socio-economic and political dimension of the crisis is sine qua non to addressing insecurity challenges in Nigeria. And therefore, I want to assure the federal government of Nigeria that the subnationals will provide the needed support for the actualization of the objectives of this program. I just want to highlight one of the major problems of social intervention programs, not only in Nigeria but across the globe, is that of improper implementation. And the major problem is in the selection of beneficiaries. And therefore, I want to call upon the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to ensure that targeted beneficiaries are selected based on set vulnerability criteria that will ensure inclusivity. I congratulate the federal government of Nigeria. I congratulate the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and the implementing agencies for this wonderful program, and wishing you all the best in its implementation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, Governor of Borno State, for speaking on behalf of all the governors. We'll take a very special remark from the former Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. He is Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu. Please welcome him with a round of applause. He also worked hard in this ministry to help the humanitarian efforts of all Nigerians. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Mother of the Nation, and the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellencies, the Governor of Borno and Deputy Governors of Katsina and Niger State, my mentor, my father, and my former governor, the Governor of the Kebbi State then, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Development Partners. Your Excellency, let me use this opportunity to establish other protocol. Well, today is an important day, and I must say that this morning I learned three lessons. First of all, the demonstration of motherhood by Her Excellency. We woke up with showers, and in some part of the country, Abuja, raining heavily. But Her Excellency insisted that 10 must be 10, and we are here at 10 o'clock. Your Excellency, your presence here today also further goes to inform the nation that all the social investment program of Mr. President, we are not only strategizing, but we are going to lay a strong foundation for not only today, but for future years to come. And I think we are all committed to that. Social investment is a very important component of human life. Vulnerability is never predicted. And that's why even in religious, it is sure that the most richest person on earth can be vulnerable at a certain point that you need to be assisted. Traveling along the line, anything can happen, and you need to be assisted around distance. So each and every nation must have a strong social investment protection program. And today's launching of 1 billion social protection fund goes to demonstrate how much the president considers this country. It will address the issue of education. If I recall, when I was Minister of State in the Federal Ministry of Education then, when Mr. President looked at the then NEL fund, something very key is missing. And what is that key? Skill component of our educational background. And Mr. President returned back the act to the National Assembly for amendment to include skill acquisitions as a means of assessing NEL fund. Because that's the only way you can create job opportunities. And then Mr. President also go ahead, if I may quote President Day, to say that he is of the firm belief that poverty should not be a deterrent every child to attain the level of the highest tertiary institution education that is required for him. And today, millions of Nigerians, billions of naira has been spent to ensure that tertiary education is not only effective, but more strengthened. To the fact that even now, a lot of institutions, the bulk payment for a NELFON has instituted their activities. Let me also reiterate here the approach by my brother, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, to launch today the One Humanitarian and One Poverty Approach Program. Goes to show that we agree that social protection programs are multifaceted in approach. And the only things you can do is to have one common approach. And this is also followed by the directives of Mr. President. When Mr. President realized that there was no council for humanitarian affairs and poverty reduction nationwide, at the instance of the President, a bill or a memo to the council was presented and approved by the council. And today, we had council, we have had the first council, and that's why virtually all the 36 states of the Federation are hereby represented in this meeting. This goes to show that whatever we are going to discuss today is not going to be a federal program, but a national program that will have the buy-in of everybody, and we can clearly see how the subnational are represented by the 3 state governments that are here. For us to also move forward and have the right approach, Honorable Minister, we must leverage very well, Your Excellency, on the digital framework. Programs are not talking to each other. The only way we can do is to leverage on social programs. When I was in education, the homegrown feeding program of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is not talking to the Federal Ministry of Education. You will be asked what is happening. So, but the coordinated approach through the well-organized 8-point agenda of Mr. President has brought virtually all the stakeholders together and working together. At this moment, I want to use this opportunity to call on our Nigerian philanthropists. The $1 billion is not only a token today. It is a means of addressing our health challenges, educational challenges, poverty challenges, insecurity, and what have you. And therefore, it's the need for us to collectively support the government and partner generously can never be overemphasized. If we do that, we are not helping the president, we are not helping the idea, we are helping ourselves. Just as my mentor has mentioned what happened in Lagos. When you refuse to take care of the need of those who need to be taken care of, your own comfortability will not be guaranteed. And that is why the president is today mandating the ministry to launch this fund so that everybody will be carried along. You have equity, you have inclusivity, you have also been your brother's keepers. And every Nigerian will be able to say, I'm proud to be a Nigerian. Finally, Your Excellency, through your office, as a former legislator and mother of the nation, the need to look at provisions of some acts in the federal, especially the INSPA Act, to address some certain areas is very, very vital, and I know the minister is also working on that. And then finally, I want to thank everybody for having time to come here, and I want to call on the ministry to continue with what is laid. Currently, unlike before, that when Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is mentioned, the first thing that comes is cow milk. People will come and milk and go. The current chairman of the All Progressive Congress and the minister has tried to establish a framework that ensures accountability and responsibility in the ministry. And it's my hope that that foundation will be leveraged to ensure that whatever is going to be used is accountable and reflect the need of the nation, and it reach everybody through a better inclusivity. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. And I think with that clarion call on all of us, it brings to mind a very popular song rendered and made very popular by Mary McKee and the Genesis, Try a Little Kindness. So please be your brother's keeper. Sing that song even when you leave here at the end of this event. It reminds you that you need to do your own best to support what government is doing. In the light of that, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, would like to just invite the Irigwe cultural troupe from Plateau State, a very vibrant rhythm and very exhilarating kind of dance. I'd like us to just watch them briefly for just 3 minutes. The Irigwe cultural troupe from Plateau State. Irigwe, please, you have 3 minutes. Thank you. Mungode. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Very entertaining. Your Excellency, I know that it's because of this event. The minister, the host minister, would have been tempted to join them in this dance. Please, can we put our hands together for the new Irigwe New Wave Dance Troupe? Thank you so much. All the way from the plateau. You see how mommy is. Always compassionate. He loves children. He loves them. And you see, photo opportunity to the First Lady. Who knows? He might be future president of Nigeria too. Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Very compassionate, kind-hearted, and loving mother of a nation. Thank you. We'd like to fix our gaze at this point on the LED screens to watch a documentary, Legacy Social Protection Programs. Please, let's watch.
What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship. So that's the next step. How do we build social safety net to help Nigerians cushion the hardship they're feeling? And then how do we grow the economy so we can create more jobs and put more money in people's pockets? These are issues that we discussed with Mr. President.
Talking of reducing poverty, there is equal determination to maintain the social safety net and improve upon the delivery of help particularly to the poor and the most vulnerable, in the form of direct benefit transfers and other interventions that help to ease the cost of living. So the future is bright, the outlook is very positive.
Nigeria, a nation of immense potential, yet for decades, one persistent challenge has remained: the scourge of poverty. The response was often a patchwork of uncoordinated programs, well-intentioned, yes, but inefficient. Without a transparent and coordinated targeting mechanism, too often the most vulnerable were left behind. A new, unified solution was needed. From this need, a vision was born. The federal government of Nigeria, in collaboration with the World Bank, designed and launched the National Social Safety Nets project. To drive its implementation, the National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, NASCO, was established. This was not just another program, it was an entire ecosystem for social protection. At its heart, a single, reliable database of all poor and vulnerable households, the National Social Register. But how do you find the poorest households in a nation of over 200 million people? The answer lay not in satellite imagery or complex algorithms alone, but in the wisdom of communities themselves. NASCO partnered with state and local governments to pioneer community-based targeting, a participatory, community-driven approach that empowers local people to identify poor and vulnerable households among themselves. Local government area teams trained by state operations coordinating units and NASCO, would enter communities to facilitate the process. Through open meetings, the people themselves defined what poverty looked like in their own context. Together, they identified and validated the most vulnerable households. By allowing communities to define poverty in their own terms, clear and locally relevant criteria were established. This ensured the process was democratic, transparent, culturally sensitive, and gender balanced. Beyond mere income, the approach captured the many dimensions of poverty. These validated households were then surveyed with detailed questionnaires. The data was uploaded to state registers and finally into the Central National Social Register. But the true value of the NSR lies not in its creation, but in its use. Its first application was the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, providing a lifeline to millions. Soon, its utility expanded. Today, the NSR is actively used by federal and state governments, the National Health Insurance Authority for health coverage, and numerous development partners. The growth has been phenomenal. From humble beginnings, the NSR has become one of the largest social registers in the world, covering over 19.8 million households and 71 million individuals as at July 2025. This is data with a human face, validated by neighbors, not just numbers on a screen. It is the very foundation of the NSR. Today, the register stands not as a static list, but
across Nigeria.
Thank you, media. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We'll hear more subsequently. So, distinguished, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now that you've heard a bit of what this is all about, it is my pleasure to invite to the podium the Honorable Minister in the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction for the program launch package presentation. Please welcome Dr. Bernard M. Doro to explain to us what this is all about, to give us further details about this program. Thank you so much. The Minister, Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Bernard Doro. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Your Excellency, the Mother of the Nation, a humanitarian champion, distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON. Let me leverage the already established protocols. Thank you so much. Let me start with an apology. You know, we agreed the program for 10. Mommy was here almost 9:45. That applause is not enough. I'm sure many of you saw me running frantically into the hall. She was already here. Thank you for coming, and sorry for delaying you. I know time is of the essence, but I just want to establish the context and as to why we're here. I'll take this time to just run us through a few slides. So we're here today to unveil 5 programs. Actually, let me correct that. There are 2 main programs, but there's also a system reform that we're here to unveil as well. In the programs we're unveiling today are directly anchored on the system reform. Next slide, please. The remote is not responding. Let's try. Okay, that's fine. The renewed hope must reach the household. For 3 years now, the president has reformed our economy. The decision was taken from the very beginning. Tough as it was, but needed. And because of the decision that the president took to unify our exchange rate and remove the fuel subsidy, we can today boast of growth in our economy. We can today boast of increased confidence by investors. We can also boast of the fact that the allocation to the FAC allocation has more than tripled. We can also see the downward trend of inflation. It has rebuilt, stabilized first the economy, and also rebuilding work has started. The next imperative, though, having achieved this macroeconomic successes, is to put food on the table of Nigerians, to protect Nigerians from shock, to provide jobs and livelihoods, and also a pathway out of poverty. The challenge before us, and I know many speakers have mentioned this, and as we go through the context setting, I'll be able to speak more on this. The challenge we must solve, Nigeria does not lack interventions, and I've maintained this consistently. What Nigeria lacks is a system that brings all the interventions together. Across humanitarian response and poverty reduction, social protection, historically, what we have done is to deliver interventions through multiple registries, through multiple programs, through multiple delivery channels. The resources for these programs are also fragmented. And we have lacked a very clear journey from entry point to exit point. So if you come to the federal government, for example, a lot of line ministries are contributing to resolving the problem. You go to the states, there are several interventions, humanitarian and poverty reduction interventions. But because we have done it in a disjointed way, we've approached it in silos. Programs are not talking to each other. You will find that one person will benefit from several programs while another person does not. So the result of what we have practiced over the time has been lack of our ability to answer a fundamental question. What happened to the household after the intervention? Here is the strategic shift and the philosophy that underpins the entire work we have done over the last 8-9 months is from palliatives to pathways. We want to move from reactive relief to anticipatory protection, to move from program-centered focus to household-centered, from fragmented registries to unified registries, from repeated transfers to define household pathways, from counting beneficiaries to measuring outcomes, from poverty management to poverty reduction, from intervention to graduation, from vulnerability to prosperity. That is the philosophy that has guided our work and the need to reform our delivery mechanism for social protection, for poverty reduction, and for humanitarian interventions. This is the reform we unveil today. The new national architecture is one that puts the household at the center of every program we design, at the center of every intervention. Now, here's the journey. It starts, first of all, from identifying the vulnerable household, registering them, doing a need assessment, having a targeted response, protecting this vulnerable household, empowerment programs, and then a graduation, what we call a poverty graduation pathway, and then on to growth. How do we achieve this? It will be supported by unified data and registries, digital delivery system, financing architecture, that's very important, institutions and coordination, accountability and transparency, and also real-time intelligence. This is the architecture that places people at the center, not just programs. Today, we unveil 5 instruments, but it's a one reform agenda. We are looking at hope, social protection. We're looking at a system reform that we have been talking about, the one humanitarian, one poverty response system. The one humanitarian, one poverty response system is our flagship reform agenda, where we want to change the delivery mechanism of humanitarian interventions and poverty reduction. We want this to be done through a single window so that we are able to remove lack of talking to one another that we have observed in programs, the siloed delivery, the duplication of effort. Everyone that is delivering an intervention is creating a register. Everyone is creating a data center. And these are not talking to one another. So our reform under the one humanitarian, one poverty response system intend to bring this all together so that these programs can interact one with another. While we are laying the foundation and also planning to build a long-term delivery system, we're looking also to intervene with a shock response. And we have developed a ministerial blueprint for this ministerial tenure on how we want to achieve that. And in all of this, while we deliver programs, the measure is what impact these programs are delivering. And that is why we've come up with the Humanity First magazine. Here, we're able to collect the human interest stories. We're able to go right to the beneficiaries to hear from them. These interventions, how they are actually changing them. Now, let me just talk briefly on the journey. What we intend to see is when we track a beneficiary, we track it using the Unified National Social Register. At the moment, our National Social Register has approximately 20 million households. And if you multiply that by 4.5, which is the average family size, it gives you somewhere around 75 million people in the register. But what we want to do is to create a platform that unified all the other registers that we are using in the country. And from there, we develop a unified beneficiary register. And then from there, an exit register and a growth register. So what these registries will do is when you identify someone that requires intervention, you don't lose them. because you move them from that targeting process onto, growth register. So you always have their records. That is the intention of what we are building. And the one humanitarian, one poverty response system is anchored on 6 strategic pillars. So we are looking at system and governance reset, one coordinated national poverty response. We're looking at leveraging data, digital infrastructure. Now, under our digital infrastructure, we're looking at a dashboard that gives visibility for what is happening in the various interventions across the country. And we are also looking at the unified registers, as I've just explained. And embedded in it is the National Poverty Intelligence Lab. All this together gives us the technology that we need to be able to manage the process. And the other pillars are there: reform and empowerment, having a local government poverty delivery model. And I like what the Honorable Minister of Budget says, that we drill this actually down to the words. And we also looking at humanitarian development peace nexus, because this is very key to our interventions, and partnerships, financing, and global leadership. Overall, what the new model seeks to do is to ensure that there is synergy and coordination between the federal, states, local governments, development partners, working together, a whole of country and a whole of society approach to our delivery. And if we can coordinate all of this, we focus on the beneficiary, which is the household. How do we measure success? We will not only count what we distribute through this system. Households identified, households reached, household protected, households that are economically included, households exiting vulnerability, households graduating from poverty, households that are growing. This will be the basis of our measurement. No household will be invisible. No vulnerable Nigerian will become visible to government only when disasters strikes. A successful implementation of our reform agenda will ensure that no program will operate without knowing the outcome of its intervention, and that no Nigerian will remain permanently trapped in the architecture of poverty. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Households identified, reached, and removed from poverty. Please give the Honorable Minister a round of applause for these 6 programs put together to change the lives of Nigerians. We'll watch a very, very, very short documentary, and this will look at how households have become very resilient and the way the ministry has identified them and helped them. Very, very quickly, the documentary, Stories of Resilience and Pathways to Prosperity. Media.
Register and has reached over 9.3 million households so far. Each eligible household receives 25,000 naira a month for 3 months, paid straight into their verified bank account. To keep things transparent and fraud-free, every beneficiary's national identification number is validated before any payment goes through. Implemented by the Government of Nigeria through the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in conjunction with the National Investment Agency, the National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, NASCO, the National Cash Transfer Office, NCTO, and support from the World Bank.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction is charged with the responsibility of developing policies that help coordinate humanitarian intervention and poverty alleviation across our country.
There was an arrangement between the World Bank and the Nigerian government. So under the Ministry for Poverty, then they were able to come up with an arrangement whereby they will give a subsistence, allowance for those really poor and vulnerable. And that is why they set up the Office of the National Cash Transfer Office.
Currently, the government of Nigeria, through the Household Prosperity and Empowerment Program, is reaching out to poor and vulnerable households across the country who are already registered in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households.
Rolling these out across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria is no small task. Federal, state, and community teams work together to make it happen. On the ground, local facilitators are there to help, especially for women, the elderly, and people living with disabilities, making sure no one is left out due to documentation gaps or other barriers. And if a beneficiary has a question or hits a problem with their payment, there's a dedicated call center they can reach directly on 969.
The beneficiaries have been targeted through the use of the National Social Register. By the way, the National Social Register is a register that contains vulnerable households, and currently we have about 19.7 vulnerable households captured in the National Social Register. So out of this, the Hub City aims to reach 15 million. So in terms of scale, this is massive again, as I said earlier.
Several approaches to reaching out to our beneficiaries, which are the major stakeholders. First is targeted communication. We reach them through SMS, and of course there's also in-person information dissemination, where our community facilitators visit each community and display or disclose the names of beneficiaries of the program.
And most of them, some of them, they say, that amount they give, they open a small businesses, and of which they are using to service their people, and they are using the outcome of the money they get to pay their school, their children's school fees. Some they say, they added the activity in there because they are, some of them, they are small-scale farmers. So they use the money for the input of their farming. So they were so happy.
The impact is real and measurable. Small traders are using the cash to restock and keep their businesses running. Families are eating better and keeping their kids in school, and even when times are hard. Don't just take my words for it, hear it from them.
You get to run the when I come say, yeah, my name. My son, I will come. Give me this card. The money where you said they will give us. I got 75,000. I come happy. Up with them for my business. And I thank you people. If this kind of thing can come out, well, now the government to love us.
Gaskiya lokacin rayuwa na din da kwai inda yake, amma da cash din transfer ya zo, yanzu ka yana jin rayuwa din da daɗi ma za a ce ko? Da na fara samu da jari ya yanke ina zaune da yara ya zanyi ashe Allah ya ce karki faɗi ya zaki. Kawai sai na zo na samu wannan kuɗi da ake tallafi sai ce kai bari in koma aiki na da na saba. Sai da na kama yin sana'an nan, kai sai na ji daɗi, sai na tura yara na makaranta.
You know, before I was staying under the tree. Now I have a shade that I can cover myself and I can sit down comfortably for customers to come and go. And again, before, I used to have challenges with my children's school fees. I do have challenges in terms of feeding. I do have challenges in terms of funds. The time that the federal government came to my intervention through the conditional cash transfer program, you know, it aided me a lot to advance in terms of my businesses.
By the men abase kom cosa che ana nimba utong pomi pa to abase na utong pomi di idogori go wenni at least manong bo kom ne bo nong det mo kem kem ni ban jan ge so kom ni so sta wing se kom mo so ke mo nam because aba don de me ko men change me no wen ano wana min nong mu ko no sat ba akong mo ke no min ni sime bo yang mo so ka kai so gbogbo
ìgbà yẹn mi ò kì í fi bẹ́ẹ̀ wá sí ṣọ́ọ̀bù ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan ni mo máa ń wá lẹ́yìn ìgbà tá a gbowó yẹn things change àwọn nǹkan kan yàtọ̀ àárówó tajà àdèrò jẹun nínú ilé a fẹ́ kí ìjọba bàbá Bọ́lá Ahmed pé wọ́n ṣeun adúpẹ́ lọ Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ máa fún wọn ṣe.
nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ ṣe àlàáfíà ara àti nípa ojú mi gbogbo àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyẹn sì ń ṣe nígbà yẹn wàláì mo gbádùn ó ṣe déédéé àsìkò ìgbà náà torí pé inú mi sì dùn mo fi yanjú àlàáfíà ojú mi àtàwọn nǹkan míì tí tún bẹnu ara mi ó ṣe déédéé púpọ̀ tínú mi dùn jù.
The Nigerian government.
For all that the president and our dear mother of a nation are doing for Nigeria, can we please applaud them one more time? And happy birthday to the governor of Borno State, sir. We wish you continued good long life and God's protection. As we move on very quickly, we would like to invite for the vote of thanks at this juncture, Mr. Valentine Ezulu. Please, can we welcome him with a round of applause as he comes to the podium for his vote of thanks. And please, we'd like to plead with you to skip protocols as much as possible. Valentine Ezulu.
The First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, the Executive Governor of Borno State, the Deputy Governors from Katsina and Niger State, my Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, and other members of the Federal Executive Council, kindly permit me to align with the already well-established protocol. On behalf of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, and indeed all those who have contributed to the conception, development, and implementation of these important initiatives, I sincerely appreciate His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to reducing poverty, strengthening social protection, and improving the welfare and resilience of vulnerable Nigerians. We are particularly grateful for the policy direction and support that have made it possible to move from fragmented interventions towards stronger systems, better coordination, and more effective delivery. I wish to express our profound gratitude to Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Mother of the Nation, for her continued advocacy and commitment to the well-being of women, children, persons with disabilities, our senior citizens, and indeed other vulnerable groups. Your support for humanitarian and social development initiatives continues to inspire greater action towards building a Nigeria where no one is left behind. We acknowledge with immense gratitude our development partners, particularly the World Bank and other international and national partners whose technical expertise, financial support, knowledge, and commitment have been invaluable to the development of the HOPE SP and the strengthening of Nigeria's social protection architecture. We must equally appreciate all the 36 state governors and even the local governments, as well as the National Assembly, for their partnership and commitment to ensuring that social protection and humanitarian interventions reach the people who need them most. To our traditional rulers, religious leaders, civil society organizations, private sector partners, academia, humanitarian actors, and community-based organizations, we thank you for your invaluable partnership, your roles in mobilizing communities, and strengthening accountability and ensuring that interventions respond to real needs cannot be overemphasized. Once again, on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, I extend our deepest appreciation to His Excellency, the President, for graciously unveiling this initiative through the First Lady and for his commitment to a more prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Nigeria. I thank the First Lady and indeed all members of the Federal Executive Council gathered here, National Assembly, state governors, development partners, international organizations. Finally, I thank the organizing committee, technical teams, government officials, partners, and everyone whose dedication and hard work has made today's event possible. May the HOPE Social Protection Project and the One Humanitarian Poverty Response System become enduring instruments from reducing poverty, strengthening resilience, improving humanitarian coordination, and advancing social inclusion across Nigeria. May this historic occasion mark the beginning of a new chapter in our collective effort to ensure that no Nigerian is left behind. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you indeed, and Your Excellency, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've come to a defining moment of this occasion. May I respectfully invite a woman who is caring, benevolent, friendly, sympathetic, generous, benignant, humane, and good-hearted First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to formally do the unveiling of the $1 billion Renewed Hope Social Protection Program. Please join me in welcoming Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, ma.
Thank you very much. Can we be seated, please? Thank you. The Governor of Borno State, His Excellency Professor Babagana Umaru Zulum. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. CON. Deputy Governor of Niger State, His Excellency Comrade Yakubu Garba. Deputy Governor of Katsina State, Malam Farouk Lawal Jobe. Honorable Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, our host today, Dr. Bernard M. Doro. Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, CON. Former Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Mr. Olubumi Olusoya, and other top government functionaries here present. State Commissioners of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction here present. Head of Delegation of European Union to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Goita Mignot. United Nations Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator in Nigeria, Mohammed Malik Fall, Country Director, World Bank Nigeria, Matthew Verghese, and other representatives of World Bank here present, members of the diplomatic corps and development partners, the Olowa of Igbaraoke Kingdom, His Majesty Alayeluwa Oba Dr. Francis Adefara Komi, Agbede OFR, the Honor of Abuja and Chairman FCT Council of Chiefs, ably represented by Hakimi Sabon Tasha and other traditional rulers present, the representative of the Chairman Khan, Reverend Dr. Stephen Panya Baba, and other religious leaders here present, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I am indeed delighted to join you today for the unveiling of 5 initiatives by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. I thank the Honorable Minister, Dr. Bernard M. Doro, for inviting me to be part of this significant event. The initiatives being unveiled are the Household Prosperity Empowerment Social Protection Project, known as HOPE SP, the One Humanitarian, One Poverty Response System, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction Ministerial Blueprint, the Emergency Shock Response Cash Transfer, the Humanitarian First Magazine. Although this initiative serves different functions, I'm glad to learn that they share a common purpose, which is to improve the lives of Nigerians, particularly the vulnerable individuals, families, and communities across our country. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, our nation is implementing far-reaching reforms to strengthen the economy, lay a solid foundation for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. And these reforms continue to take effect. We must recognize that given the size of our population and available resources, many families still face challenges and require our collective support. The first initiative, the Household Prosperity and Economic Social Protection Project, is an important step towards strengthening how to identify and respond to vulnerable households facing various challenges by listening to their specific needs before taking action. It is designed to provide immediate stabilization assistance while placing the households on a pathway to recovery, empowerment, and self-reliance. There is the second initiative, the One Humanitarian, One Poverty Response System. As I was informed, is designed to provide a coordinated national response to humanitarian crisis, social protection, and poverty reduction. It will prevent duplication and maintain unified national registries that help track and support poor and vulnerable households in Nigeria as they progress from vulnerability to prosperity. The third one is the Emergency Shock Responsive Cash Transfer during economic, environmental, and other shock that the individuals might have encountered. The fourth is the ministerial blueprint that will provide a clear roadmap for translating the humanitarian and poverty reduction priorities of the Renewed Hope Agenda into coordinated and measurable action. This is important as planning and accountability will be at the center of the service to Nigerian people. Lastly, the fifth initiative, the Humanitarian First Magazine, is remarkable because it tells the stories of citizens whose lives have been transformed by government intervention. At this juncture, I commend the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Bernard M. Doro, and his team for these initiatives that would transform our humanitarian endeavors from temporary assistance to lasting pathways that promote resilience, self-reliance, prosperity, and a dignified life for every Nigerian. Thank you so much for listening. God bless our humanitarian efforts. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Mommy, can you please just give us a minute? Let me invite some people to support you. May I request Governor Zulum to please come to the stage, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, and then the Minister for Economic Planning, His Excellency Bagudu Atiku, please come up. DG, women are representing the Minister for Women Affairs, the DG of the Babangida Women's Center. Please come to the stage and support Her Excellency, our mother, the mother of the nation, as she unveils this beautiful initiative. Thank you, ma'am. Official unveiling and launching of Hope SP and $1 billion Renewed Hope Social Investment Program. Thank you. These are the names they gave me.
Please, let's watch the unveiling as to be done by the First Lady of Nigeria. Your Excellency, ma, to be assisted on that side by the Honorable Minister for Humanitarian. Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, thank you very much. To the glory of God and to the benefit of all Nigerians, I hereby unveil with all my supporters, the governors, the ministers, today you said what? No, all the programs in the humanitarian affairs and poverty, what is
reduction.
It? Reduction ministry. Amen.
Amen. Please let's applaud Her Excellency one more time. And then, of course, yes, we have others. We're so inviting you over to this side where Her Excellency is standing so you can join for the public presentation of that compendium. Her Excellency will be sandwiched between the governor. We have the representative of the representative of Mr. Women Affairs, and then, of course, representing all the Honorable Commissioners for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction from the states. We have a female commissioner joining them on that side. Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. That's the public presentation. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for them one more time. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we appreciate you for your very iconic leadership And of course, the salutation and appreciation goes to the #1 citizen of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, your very amiable husband, for all that he's doing for us. Okay, can I quickly invite the representative of EN, EU, World Bank, IOM, can please join them very quickly, please. The representative of these bodies that we've just mentioned. EU, IOM, and the World Bank. And the representative of the international NGOs, if we have any of you here at this point. Former Minister, United Nations, sir. Deputy Governors, UNICEF, IOM, IPA, Minister of Youth's representative, the Deputy Governors, Rep of CAN President, I think we can stretch that way instead of this way. Can we go that way, please? No, yes, ma. So that all of them can join you for the pictures. Thank you very much. We are done. This will be it, please. Let's do this very quickly. Yes, I think there's wisdom in going down so that all of them can be on the same platform. And of course, some of you will be on the stage, whilst Her Excellency and the rest of you will be on the front row. But the rest of you can stand right here. A few more can go down if you want to, but we are done with this. Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency, our dear mother, and all of you. Thank you very much for the support. As we return to our seats, we will be closing with the national anthem. The national anthem, please. Thank you very much. Wish you a very pleasant day ahead. And we thank you very much indeed. As Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, I beg your pardon, former Deputy Governor of Lagos State. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate the DG NIMSI. Thank you very much for joining us. Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja, General Gowon University now, as it is. We thank you. And happy birthday once again to the Governor of Borno State. Congratulations on this birthday of yours. God bless you, sir.
On behalf of both of us, do have a lovely day. And please read the document, understand it, so that together we can make lives better for Nigerians. Have a lovely day.